Are you an accountant whose social circle is buzzing about WISP? Are you wondering what the heck that is as people are chatting about around the water cooler? This is the video for you. We're going to talk about what it is, how it works, and what you need to do.
Thanks for watching. We hope this video has provided valuable information to you. Be sure to share this video with other small business owners to spread the word about the importance of cybersecurity. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want more information about cybersecurity, visit us at www.cyberventure.com.
Okay, so WISP stands for Written Information Security Plan. Written means you actually got to write it down, can't just be up here. Information security, so that's all the data that you have, especially if you're an accountant. You think about all the confidential information you might have about your customers' businesses or home life. Think like W-2s and 1099s and important bank information, that sort of thing. That's all information. You got to secure that somehow. And plan, you can't just hope it's going to happen. Hope is not a plan. So you got to come up with a plan, write it down, and protect the data. Now, here's the good news. It's not, the WISP requirement is not super specific as to what you got to do. Now, some standards that we have to work with at CyberVenture, like the NIST 800-171, are very detailed and specific. That standard has 110 specific controls that you have to satisfy in order to meet that requirement. This is a lot easier than that. Now, it does mean that you have to put some forethought into things, and there is a process to follow and some requirements you need to meet, but it's not super specific. It gives you a lot of leeway to adopt a cybersecurity plan that actually makes sense for your organization. For example, again, that aforementioned NIST 800-171 standard, I have got customers that are literally 2 people large, and that plan is unwieldy for a company that size. It's comically over-engineered for a 2-person company. They don't usually, they weren't thinking of 2-people company when they wrote this thing. But large organizations, it fits just fine. The WISP allows you to truly tailor it, I think, and there's a lot of generalities. So here's kind of the anatomy of it. The first, you need a risk assessment. You need to study what kind of things can happen. Okay, this is the type of data you have. This is what can happen. You can have social security numbers leaked and used for identity theft. You can have laptops stolen. You could have cloud infrastructure breached. You could have your remote access tool compromised. These are all the bad things that might happen, and then you try to come up with a risk of how likely these things are to happen. If you're a single individual person, it might be hard to fund hiring a cybersecurity company to do that for you. You may have to kind of do some of that legwork yourself. But it can be done, especially if you're a one-person-sized company. Those sort of things are a little easier. There's a lot more you can get away with than if you're, say, a 25-person company. If you're a 25-person company, you ought to have somebody that understands risk in cybersecurity to help write that plan for you. Once you have that plan, then you need to inventory, or kind of sort of as part of that, you need to inventory all the things you have in your environment. Your data, your cloud services, your applications, your software, and your hardware assets. What are they? Where are they? Who's got custody of that information? That sort of thing needs to be in that plan. And then finally, when you've identified all these weaknesses, you identify where stuff is at, you're going to need to have a set of customized controls that you put into place to help protect your data. And you need to do things like make sure you accommodate for malware. So that means antivirus and an absolute minimum. Although, again, I argue pretty consistently, and you'll see this in other videos, that antivirus really isn't enough anymore. You need something called endpoint detection and response. It's horse and buggy versus car kind of leap. EDR uses a lot of AI. It uses heuristic rules. Basically, it's smart enough to observe what a piece of software is actually doing to determine whether it's a threat or not. Whereas the old school antivirus, if it doesn't recognize the exact bytes in the virus, it lets it do its thing. And you could take a virus, slightly modify it. Oh, now it's a new piece of software, and the antivirus doesn't recognize it anymore. And every time somebody comes out with a new piece of malware, it adds that giant signature list that the malware company has to use. Now, EDR will use signature updates as well, but it does a lot more. So you want EDR, and you want to have, that's one of your controls you're going to have. You're going to have some kind of backup situation that can accommodate and deal with modern ransomware threats. So you need a good backup. You need to think about what you're backing up, why you're backing up, what your data retention policies have to be. Can you comply with your other data retention? I mean, if you're an accountant and you need to hold stuff for 7 years, does your backup conclude 7 years with the data? stuff to think about. The idea of a plan is that you think all this through and you write it down. Now, with every cybersecurity plan, with any compliance, the two cardinal things that you must do are do what you say what you do. And what I mean by that is if you are backing up, say, once a day and your cybersecurity policy says, okay, we're going to continuously back up certain assets, and you're not doing that, then you're not doing what you said you're going to do. And that's really, really bad. Okay. So if you have a written information security policy and it happens to be kind of weak, and someone looks at it and goes, look, this just isn't acceptable. This is not going to be good enough for the data. That's okay. That's a simple no. Go change it. Then you can, okay, no problem. We will upgrade our information security policy and start adopting these practices. Then you get the compliance and you go ahead and do business or satisfy whatever federal regulation or so on and so forth. But if you wrote down in your information security plan that you're doing X, Y, and Z and you're not, even if X, Y, Z is enough, if you get busted not doing that, now you're in trouble. That could be construed as to be as fraud. It is a violation of a lot of agreements. It's a worse place to be. And so you definitely want to actually do the things you say you're doing. You're better off saying, having weaknesses in your plan that can be corrected than weaknesses in your adherence to your own plan, if that makes sense. Furthermore, if you're doing stuff, you should write it down. You should have it. So if you're doing, then you should say. You should say what you're doing. It's important to have all the controls that you can think of put in there. Now, this is exactly the kind of thing that we do for companies. We can come in, we help write policy, we help write procedures, we document things, and there's all the stuff that your typical IT company is not going to want to do. Because let's face it, think about your geek brain, right? Your geek brain is going to think technical. It's going to think about how to fix the problem, how to engineer things. It's an engineering problem. Engineers don't usually like to document, don't like to write. So we kind of live there. We're not just documenters that don't understand the technical. We're sort of right in between there, and we can help companies write policy. We can do kind of your VCIO management sort of stuff. That's why I kind of like the WISP. This is great for our business. Every company should have one, not just accountants. And the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act that I think is driving all this actually says the other organizations should include written information security plans. Really, every organization should have one, and it should decide and scale. If you're a 25-person company, it's probably going to take you a week to write this thing up and get basic controls. Weeks worth of billable labor. If you're a one-person company, you're probably a conversation on the phone and a little writing, an hour or two of work on your own time might come up with something reasonable. Just kind of give you a general, vague ballpark of how big an effort this is. And I get it. It's tricky when you have a requirement like this because okay, great, here comes more expense. This isn't going to do anything for me. It's pure expense. It's not making me money. It's an extra headache. Thanks a lot, government. And yeah, I get it, but it's really important to have a written plan to protect your data because if you're not, if you don't have a plan, you're just hoping, and hoping is a strategy of failure. Don't just hope. Take action, come with a plan. We can help you do that. We can make it painless. And that's all I got in this topic for today. We'll do a deep dive and maybe some of the little parts of that if I get a good response from this video later. But I hope you appreciated that one, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Thanks for watching. We hope this video has provided valuable information to you. Be sure to share this video with other small business owners to spread the word about the importance of cybersecurity. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want more information about cybersecurity, visit us at www.cybervenger.com.